Imagine you lose your mum and then you lose your brother. Today we are joined by Janette. Her story is going to touch so many of you. It's a story of loss and of survival, because we know no matter how deep and dark the situation is, you will always rise. Let's get into the episode. Welcome back to another episode of the Husband and Life podcast. Today we're doing something a little bit different. We say that we talk about real relationships, real situations, but today we're going to be talking about the Women's Hour. The Women's Hour is all about talking to amazing women who have been through life tribulations, life issues, and understanding how we can help each other to grow, to support each other, and start that amazing community that we're wanting. So today we're talking to the amazing Janette, who's going to tell us more about her story, her grief, her understanding of the breaking of relationships, and where she's going now with it. So welcome Janette, how are you?
Thank you, I'm very well, thank you, Kelechi.
Amazing.
Thank you for having me, thank you.
So glad that you could join us today. I know that it's not an easy subject, so we are going to take time with it. We're going to listen to your story, and hopefully it's going to be able to help somebody else that's going through the same thing as you, that's experiencing the same thing as you, and that's literally what we want to do here on the Woman's Hour. So if you just want to start with where's the beginning? What's the beginning for you in terms of your story?
I think that so my main motivation obviously to do this is that hopefully it will help some people. Certainly when I get into the detail obviously of my bereavements, I think that I experienced a deep feeling of loneliness, and one of the things that helped me in sort of my darkest moments was listening to a podcast of a woman who'd experienced something not totally dissimilar, and I found it really helpful, and it helped me feel less alone. And so that's my motivation, is to try to help people out there feel like they're not alone and that these types of things happen. So I suppose it starts in that I'm one of three. I had a lovely mum and dad. Had a lovely upbringing, and got married. I've got a daughter. Was married. Have been married for a number of years, and things were just sort of ticking along normally. Just a typical kind of, let's say, normal life, if there is one.
Yeah.
And then about 3 years ago, my mum was sadly diagnosed with a brain tumour, which really sort of knocked us all. And I think because we tragically lost our dad 10 years ago.
Yeah.
My brother, sister, and I were sort of. It's always hard, isn't it? And we then sort of spoke to her, tried to work out what her wishes were.
Yeah.
She didn't want to have surgery, didn't really want a lot of medical intervention, which I think, my sister found difficult to come to terms with.
Yeah.
And that taught us a lot about. It's very humbling to sort of think about a person's autonomy, because you might think, oh, I know best for them over here, but actually what they want might be something slightly different, and sort of having respect for that. So certainly, anyone who is going through that, I'd recommend that people like St Catherine's Hospice were very helpful.
Yeah.
And also we went to the doctor's surgery, and there is something called a respect form.
Wow.
Which the doctor can fill out, or any healthcare professional. And what it means is they can go through exactly what a terminal patient, sort of how they want to be treated, when they want to be admitted to hospital. And they can ask a lot of very tough questions to your loved one that you may not have the capacity to ask. Certainly, we didn't want to ask about what my mum's wishes were.
Yes. yeah.
And so one of the St Catherine's Hospice nurses did that for us, which was brilliant, because
Yeah.
you want to know people's wishes and respect them.
Yeah.
And also, she had a do not resuscitate, a DNR put in place. So all those types of things. Then she was saying she didn't want to go into a nursing home, didn't want to go into hospital. So from that point, I think we didn't understand, and the health professionals were trying to tell us, they were sort of forewarning us at each stage, at some point, she won't be able to eat food that's difficult to digest or that she has to chew.
Right.
So then you're looking at toddler food.
Exactly, yeah.
And it's such a steep learning curve. And I think when you love someone, you don't obviously want them to go downhill, and you don't see how it will go downhill, especially if you're not around it a lot.
Yes, yeah.
But obviously, she did become bedbound and lost the use of her left side. And I think what was extremely difficult about that was she didn't want to go into a nursing home. She herself had worked in one.
So she knew.
So she knew what, that was what she didn't want.
And everyone wants to stay in their home. Who doesn't want to stay in their own bed? You know, it's just...
Exactly. Yeah, definitely. So, we had to have hoist training and things like that, and tried to... we tried to care for her. We had some carers come in as well to support us, but it was a very stressful time, because at the weekends, I'd sort of go around there. One of my sister and I would frog leap. She would do all day, let's say Saturday, and I'd do all day Sunday, and then we'd vice versa the following weekend.
You were on a rota?
Yeah. And so we had the hoist training to help get her out of bed, but it's a lot of personal, high level and high intensity personal care that is extremely challenging. And I can remember many a Saturday evening driving home to my house, having been there all day, leaving at 6 o'clock in the evening, and feeling like she's in this house on her own
till tomorrow morning.
And I used to sob all the way home. It was awful. That
was she really independent before?
She was very independent.
So this is a whole new person that you're having to get to know. And having to help physically. Whereas she was doing her own thing and getting on with her life. So it's a huge change in your lifestyle as well as hers.
Definitely. Yes, massive. And so, that was very challenging, and certainly she got to a point when she then couldn't speak either. I actually still had conversations with her, which is another thing I'd recommend. Just a lot of people stop talking to people who are non-verbal, but they can still hear. And I would then talk to her as if she was responding, and I realised that I knew her so well that I actually could predict what she would reply back. So we often had, she'd be laughing, because I'd say, "Oh, Mum, such and such happened," and I'd say, "I know what you're going to say. You're going to say da 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 da," and she'd laugh because I knew her so well. So that was extremely difficult. There's no right or wrong way to kind of manage that situation, but if anyone, I think, who does do the caring role, definitely get adult social care involved really as soon as possible, because there is a time lag between you sort of flagging things up and then things arriving on the ground that you need, like be it a wheelchair or a hospital bed, or
it can take months.
And if you need it on the ground there and then, it's extremely stressful. And even adult nappies and things like that. So
wet wipes, all of the things, just all the hygiene necessities. It's just like having a baby at that point, really, isn't it? You're just trying to keep them clean and fed and alive, basically.
That is exactly it. And I think, for us, in the end, I think my brother was going on to Facebook Marketplace and a variety of other places to get a wheelchair, because we were told, it'll be here, but in 3 weeks' time, and we needed it.
You need it now.
Then, So, and same with the chairlift. Actually, he just bought one online, secondhand, and then fitted it. So, I was very lucky to have my brother and sister as support, because it's a huge job. And I think that, coupled with trying to be a wife and be a mother and have your own household and work and your own life, it is extremely difficult. And there are times when you just think you can't see the wood for the trees, you can't see a way out. And so that's why I'd say try to get social care involved. You know, we were extremely lucky when she'd been into hospital because she'd had blackouts and falls numerous times. So we were sort of fast tracked in terms of receiving some bits and pieces we need, like the hospital bed and things. That did arrive quickly. But
amazing.
Yeah. So so I think it's very, very challenging to do it. What I will say is that, and so I completely respect and understand people. A lot of people aren't in a position to do it. So I was extremely sort of privileged and blessed to be able to do it.
Yeah, because some people are working and their work are not as understanding.
Flexible.
Or they don't live close by, and you know their parents live hundreds of miles away. So they can't be coming every Saturday or whatever. And that way you have to get that round the clock care, and you have to be able to afford that. So
and I think as well there's a constant stream of guilt going through your mind, which is you feel guilty that you're not fulfilling your normal responsibilities. I felt like I wasn't being a good mum, like I wasn't being a good wife, like the house was falling apart at home, and then I was feeling guilty that I wasn't with my mum more, and it was just this constant, voice in your head that you're failing on every level. But actually, sometimes we are our own worst critics, and we're just setting the bar too high. And sometimes you just have to think, am I just is this good enough? You know, because there's many a day when I would think, oh, I'm going to take my mum a home cooked meal, and I'd then think, oh my gosh, I've forgotten it, or this, that, the other. And I don't know, then you just think, oh, do you know what, it's okay if she has a toddler meal or whatever it might be,
as long as she's eating,
it's good enough.
So as long as she's eating and it's healthy and it's going to help her nourish her. I think you're completely right about setting ourselves a really high bar, especially when things like this are happening. Tragedy is happening all around you. There's a mental health aspect of that, as well as a physical health aspect of that, and your cup is empty at this point, right? Your cup is empty, but then you're still having to perform, you're still having to show up, you're still having to be around for other people. Your whole life is on the back burner because of the fact you're so consumed by what's going on with your mum, as well as your daughter, your husband, work, life, everything. So it is a case of you're always going to be attacking yourself as to why you haven't been able to fulfill this, or why you haven't been able. But if you step back and look at, you can't at the time, but with hindsight, you think to yourself, actually, I was there for mum. You know, I spent time with her. I was able to have quality time with her. I did my best with work. I did my best with the family. And that period of time, talk to me about how you were able to kind of share that responsibility with your siblings. Was it something that you guys sat down and discussed, or was it just a natural thing that you just knew you all had to be there at some point and you all did what you needed to do?
I think we did sit down and discuss it, and my brother set up a WhatsApp group with my sister and I as well. And so probably he was extremely good in that he managed it, So he worked abroad a lot, and therefore he'd be back in the UK for let's say 2, 3, 4 weeks, and then he'd be off abroad again. So so he would then help to basically put timetables together. When he was at home, he'd say, right, you're both completely, have a complete break, have a complete rest, and I'll take it all on.
Amazing.
He was amazing from a point of view of ordering things. If we needed something, he was brilliant at setting up also. It's called Blink. It's where you have a camera in, let's say, the bedroom where the person's sleeping. Before we got the hospital bed and we didn't have a bar, there was one afternoon when my mum, I think, was on her own for about 2 hours and she'd fallen out of bed. And none of us knew.
It's common,
which was awful. And so he then set up a camera, and it would only film when there was movement. So, and he got that from Amazon, set it all up. And I think I think it was free. So there are things out there. It's just
you need to know.
You need to know.
Yeah.
So definitely this Amazon Blink was absolutely amazing. So that's something I could recommend to people, because that's the problem, is you often are wise after the event, which is the issue, really.
Yes.
So certainly that was really helpful. And I think that, my brother was very good at sort of telling us, okay, I'm home, you and to my sister and I just have a complete break, because I think he understood that when you're caring for someone, even if it's a baby or whatever, when you are a carer for anybody, children, elderly adults, whatever it is, you absolutely need to have some self-care and have some time out. And I think it extends as well. One thing that's occurred to me is, as we age, we start to maybe get the odd health niggle, or we can't stay up partying as late as we once did, these things. So what you notice is that maybe your physical health needs to be respected a bit more. But in exactly the same way, what I've sort of come to realise is that your mental health is also more fragile as you get older. So you absolutely have to safeguard your own mental health as well as physically. And so the only other thing I'd recommend to people, is try to, before you become overwhelmed, try to just make an A4 sheet and just write down things that will help you feel a bit better, because often it's the smallest things actually that will power you through. You'll think, well, that won't have an effect, but actually it will power you through. So, and then if you write it on a piece of paper, the people you live with, or your friends, you can show them the piece of paper and they can see, okay, you're struggling. I can see on your sheet, I'm going to run you a bath with these essential oils or whatever. I'm going to make you a cup of tea and put some nice music on for you. And they
get your favourite meal for you, whatever, your favourite takeaway meal, whatever it is that you enjoy, favourite movie.
And just things like that, so that then the people around you that want to try to support you have got something to look at.
This is true, because a lot of the time when you're going through something like this and you've got friends and family that want to help, but they don't know how, and they don't know what to say. A lot of people find that when you're going through crisis, it's silent and nobody actually messages you or says, how are you doing, because of the fact they actually don't know what to do. They don't know what to say. So that is a great tool for someone to be able to, and you don't even need to be able to verbalize it. You just literally write it down. These are the things that I would love to have, or the things that I really enjoy. And you pass it on to your people, and then they can find a way to make that something to bring a little bit of joy to you when you're low, when you feel like you're done, you can't go any further, dark days, and you feel like you can't actually climb yourself out of the darkness that you're in, as we say, the sunken place. So it's like, if you had that and gave that to friends, you'd find that the phone wouldn't be as silent, and people would actually turn up with the things that you said you wanted, so that they could be of some help, instead of essentially ghosting you because they don't know what to do, which is very common.
It is extremely common, and it leaves you feeling even more alone.
It's more betrayal, it's more pain, it's more grief, because now you're grieving not only family members, you're grieving friends as well. And the relationships that you've had with people. It's kind of a bit like a domino effect. So when your mum started to become non-verbal, did she deteriorate quite quickly after that?
Yes, she did. She did. She did. So it did go down extremely quickly, because then obviously she couldn't eat either, and so then it's a question of
how long,
how can we get her pain managed, how can we just make it as comfortable as possible. And that's another thing I'd recommend for people is to try to get power of attorney, LPA, lasting power of attorney for your loved one's health. There are two. You can get them financial and for their health, because then because there was some point when she was deemed as not having capacity. We were very fortunate that she'd signed lasting power of attorney to my brother for health. And so he then could speak on her behalf, because originally they wanted to put her into a nursing home and things like that. So which so if you have that lasting power of attorney, it means the autonomy is in your hands or the family's hands. So definitely it's worth sorting those things out before it becomes an issue, because you can't sort it out once they're deemed to not have capacity. It's too late. And it only kicks in when they're deemed to not have capacity. So they have complete autonomy up until that point. And I don't know if people realise that. And so we found these things out very late, luckily just in time. But there's a whole education out there that people just are completely unaware of until they find themselves in that predicament. And I wish we'd had someone that, you know, could have told us a whole load of things before it happened. So that's definitely something I would recommend. But I mean, I have a deep sense of peace that I did look after my mum. It was messy and it was unpleasant, and there were days that I didn't want to do it. You know, changing an adult nappy is not a pleasant experience. And to sit here and say that it wasn't, and often actually my mum would laugh about it, because she would say she'd worked in a nursing home, so she absolutely knew. I'd say, Mum, you know, I just thought you were making tea for the elderly residents whenever you went off and did this night shift when we were young, and then I'd laugh and say, but Mum, it was all of this, and then she'd start laughing because I was in the middle
because you're in the middle of it, you're like, you're literally trying to make as much light of it as possible, but my goodness, it is something else.
It is something else. Nothing really prepares you. So but I look back on it now, and it's definitely helped me to with my grieving process 100%, because I have a sense of peace that we were able to give her what she wanted and able to respect her wishes. And so I feel it's helped me. It's come to a place of peace with it all, and feel calm about it. And you know, I was extremely, as I say, blessed that I had my brother and sister to work alongside through the process as well.
It's helpful that you had siblings that were helpful, because a lot of the time you get siblings that are not helpful. In fact, they cause more stress and more pain and more grief. So you have to navigate that, as well as looking after, you know, someone who's very poorly, and so it's sometimes bared upon that one child to deal with everything. Whereas they've got siblings, and siblings are nowhere to be found, and they're nowhere to assist. So it's amazing that you guys came together to support each other. You recognized it quickly. You sat down, you discussed it, and everybody had their roles. And everybody did what they needed to do, which made things a lot easier for you.
It did.
So talk to me about her last days and how you guys handled that as a siblings and family.
So we were trying to do different night shifts so she wasn't on her own. Because you don't know. There were so many times when we felt she was close to death throughout the whole of about a period of a year. Every couple of months, because there was one time she got an infection, and so we actually asked my brother to come home from America. He is an engineer and was working in the States, and got an emergency flight home. But in that time, the antibiotics had kicked in, and she'd made an amazing recovery. So we felt, you know, so difficult, you know, and so difficult, because he'd suddenly flown home and then was expecting her and then he came home and she's absolutely well, and he's saying what's going on, sort of thing. So I think we had so many times like that when it was the final days, we did know, but equally we didn't know how long it would go on for. So so we were sort of doing, my brother would stay at the house a night, and then I would, and then my sister would, and often my brother would then stay at my house on his night off, because I said it's nice just for you to be in a different environment, because it's so intense.
It is.
So yes, but ultimately, you know, when she passed away, we, you know, it's I think ultimately she knew she'd been surrounded with loved ones. And I think, I don't know, once they'd started the morphine, I felt she left the building, to be honest.
Yeah.
And then those last 2 days, I just felt she wasn't really there. So, you know, I think as leaving this world goes, you know, I think she had, her wishes were met, and I think that, you know, she was, I think she was ultimately, you know, proud of us, because she would have realised how tough.
Yes,
I think
she would have known, because
the whole thing, had been.
Yeah.
But so that was very difficult. But I think what then, you know, was horrendous was obviously my mum had been passed away for about, I don't know, maybe 6 weeks or 8 weeks, and we were, you know, we were doing, I think, as well as could be, as well as we could do under the circumstances. We were doing
Grieving,
okay. We were grieving. There's an awful lot to do in terms of, you know, when someone passes away,
admin, all of that,
belongings in the house. It is monumental amount of work at the worst possible time.
Yes, and you've got to get it done. It's not a case of you having just to leave it and have that time to grieve. You've got to get it done quickly to get the processes sorted, because they take a long time. And at the same time, you know, you've got to go through the house, and it's someone's entire life is in their house. So it's decades and decades of things. And you're expected to do that within a few weeks. It's absolute madness, really,
it is madness. And the whole process, you know, even just to arrange the funeral, and then you've got to get a death certificate. There almost needs to be a step-by-step flowchart guide of what you need to do.
Yeah, the first steps.
Yeah, because it is so overwhelming. And I think, you know, when my dad had passed away, my mum did all of it, and we didn't realise just the amount of work that's involved. And just how important the death certificate is as a legal document.
You can't do anything without it.
You can't do anything.
Nothing.
And even just ordering enough copies of it. Because all of the institutions want copies of it, and then they want you to send the original, then they'll have it for 3 months, then you don't get it back, and then you're struggling because you can't move on with the next. So it's all these things that I think that you're sort of unaware of until you're in that moment. So that was very difficult. But we were doing okay. I think we were all sort of
we're just trying your best,
our best, pulling ourselves together. You know, I remember my sister had a holiday booked of a lifetime to go to the Caribbean, and we actually put my mum's funeral on hold for a week so that she could go on her holiday. Because, you know, we were talking to my sister and we said, look, the hard work's done now. We were there when she needed us, you know, and now it's time for you to have a restful holiday. You can't do any more for her. You can now do this for yourself and look after yourself, because we were all absolutely exhausted.
Can imagine.
And so, you know, so she went on holiday, and my brother and I said, we will arrange, you know, the funeral and sort everything out, which we did. And so I just felt to be honest, I thought, if I've got my brother by my side, there's actually nothing I can't get through.
Because you've got that support. You've got, you know, you've got someone that's going to be your partner, and you're going to get things sorted out.
And he was someone I could work with extremely well. And, you know, and get things done with. So obviously this brings us to the next chapter. So he was doing okay, but he'd gone out for a friend's birthday. I'd seen my brother on the Saturday. We'd had a really good laugh together, actually. My daughter had come over with me. The Hoover at my mum's house had broken, which was where he was living. So we'd taken our Hoover over, and my daughter and I hoovered and mopped the house and had a cup of tea and some chocolate with my brother. He was going through old photos, and we were laughing, actually, for pictures of my mum when she was young, and then pictures of my dad, and we were just having actually a moment of laughter,
reflection,
and
fun,
which was actually which was lovely. Then my daughter and I left, gave him a hug, said, "See, we'll see you tomorrow for roast," because he was coming around our house for dinner.
Oh gosh!
And then he went out to a pub first of all, and then because it was a friend's birthday, they all went down to Brighton to a nightclub. And at 2 a.m, most of the friends went home in taxis.
Right.
But him and one of his really close friends decided that they still wanted to stay out, so they went to a nightclub on the beachfront.
Yeah.
Until 5 or 5:30 or something. And they came out of the club, I don't know, 5:30, 6 or around then. And he said to his friend, "Oh, I'd like to sober up a bit." He wasn't apparently hugely drunk.
Yeah.
But said he was going to go in the sea for a swim and to sober up and just feel a bit better. So he took all of his clothes off, and his friend said, "No, don't. It's actually really choppy out there. It looks like it's calm, but actually it's a shelved beach.
Yes.
Please don't do it."
Yeah.
But yeah, he went in, and then basically never came out. Never came out.
Sorry.
It's okay. So ever since we'd had the carers coming to my mum's house, he'd arranged for his post and everything to come to my house. So I was the registered, obviously, as his next of kin.
Yeah.
So the first I heard about it was a knock at the door with the police at maybe 8 o'clock on the Sunday morning. And he was a registered missing person at that point. So I went down to Brighton and they took us to the police station. It's a frustrating process. They don't tell you.
They don't tell you anything. No,
so
they don't know anything.
No. So you're
just waiting.
Yeah. It's a waiting game.
Yeah.
And the RNLI were out searching, and I said, my sister was there as well. Can we go to the beach? Can we help in the search? So they took us to the beach, and I mean, it's that's when you realise the sea is so vast.
Yes.
We were shaking with the cold.
Yes. Yeah.
And it will be 2 years ago, actually, this Tuesday, that it happened.
Oh my god.
Yeah. It's horrific.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, it's just horrendous.
And the thing is, it's 2 years ago, but it always feels like it was just yesterday.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It feels fresh.
Yeah.
Yeah. They always say time is a healer, but I always feel like it's really not. It's just one of those things where time is just going, but you're still feeling everything that happened during that time. Yeah. So it's just,
I think the only thing is, as time goes by, but it's not so much at the forefront of your mind. That's the difference, I think.
It numbs a bit.
It does.
But if you touch it, it becomes very painful.
There.
Yeah.
It's there.
Yeah.
So that whole day was just was just a blur. It was just horrific. I couldn't believe it was happening to me. It felt like my world fell apart. And my brother it wasn't just a brother, not that anyone's just a brother, but he was my very best friend. And it was horrific. And that night, I mean, the police then said, you need to go home. They were calling off the search with the RNLI at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and they said, look, normally we'd have called it off at 1, but we stayed because you were here, and you know, we really wanted to. They were really desperate to find him, and so then I just remember thinking, how can I go home? It was the worst feeling. Because you want to stay in the spot where they were.
Yeah, because you feel like you're leaving him.
Yes.
Right?
That's
it's
exactly
like you're leaving him behind. I can't leave him behind. I must find him. That's all you're thinking about. Yeah.
So I think that it was really hard to go home. But my sister and I went home, and then I just remember praying, please God, someone find him. I was praying he just be somewhere and be okay, obviously. But I just please find him. And I think it was about 11:30 that night. There was a chap walking along the beach, young in his 20s, on a date, walking along the beach, and saw something in the water.
Right.
Went over and retrieved. Retrieved him. Which I think it's fair to say I will be eternally grateful for that one singular act.
Yeah.
For the rest of my days, like, and beyond. Because I would never have stopped looking. I would never have stopped looking.
No.
For the rest of my days, I'd never be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just wouldn't be able to think of anything else other than finding him. Every single day.
Yes.
And also to the young man that was able to do that, he was actually very brave, because a lot of people will be very scared.
Yes.
To even touch.
Absolutely.
A body, and you have all those fears that would come up. And the fact that he was so brave to just say, you know what, I'm gonna go and get this person, because obviously someone's looking for them.
So I actually asked the police if I could meet him, because I wanted to thank him in person. So they did arrange me. I met him in Brighton about 4 or 5 months after the event. And I think it was extreme. It was an unbelievably powerful and beneficial meeting, I think, for both of us. Because he, as a young person, struggles a bit with anxiety.
Right.
And, I think I wanted to meet him because I wanted to offer to actually pay for him to have some counselling for his anxiety and for any kind of PTSD that may have surrounded what happened. But he didn't take up on my offer. But it was just lovely to meet him, and since then I have seen him a couple of times. Actually, he's been to my house for dinner. And I think it's been helpful to us both, because I think it helps him understand. Because the number one thing for him that he said to me was, I just couldn't get over the fact that I was too late to save him.
Oh my goodness.
And I said to him, you may have been too late to save him, but it wasn't too late to save me, because I said my life would not have been my own if you hadn't, if someone hadn't brought my brother's body back to me. So I think that that was a very healing experience for me to have. So it's been a really horrific journey. I wouldn't wish it on anyone. And it's there's been such dark moments in my life that I never thought I'd experience. And so it's really tough. And there are days when you you have to sort of think, right, I have to try and get out of bed this morning, and you have to go back to basics, and you need a lot of support around you, and I think I think so. I think what it made me realise at that point was that my husband has never actually been able to emotionally support me.
Right.
And I think that I've been buffeted against that for all the time we were married, because I think fundamentally I got emotional support from, my dad, and then my mum and my brother.
Yeah. So you had other people helping you emotionally,
yes,
and supporting you in that way. So he didn't need to fulfill that role.
No.
Until this. Yeah.
And I think that's caused a huge problem for me in my marriage, because I'm not getting a need is not being met.
Yeah.
So basically my husband and I have separated. So it's I mean, breaking up with somebody is horrific at the best of times, and I've been doing it in the very worst of times. So
it's double grief, triple grief, really, if you add your mum in there as well. So it's like there's a lot to take on, because you've been married for how many years?
19 years.
So it's a good chunk of your life with somebody. And now you've got to adjust without him. How did you come to that, that decision to separate, though? What were the signs that he just wasn't showing up for you in the way that you needed him to show up for you?
I think I was aware that, if I was crying, he wouldn't come over and hold my hand or hug me or sit with me. He would go and put the kettle on and make a cup of tea, or say, I'll give you your space, or whatever. And actually, what I didn't need was space. I did not need that. I needed someone to come close to me and to sit with me in my grief for a little while. And he never did those things.
Right.
And I think that a friend suggested that I just be upfront and honest and tell him what I needed, which I then did. So I said, when I'm crying, I need you to come and sit with me. I need you to hug me. Not for hours. It might just be 2 minutes.
Just acknowledge.
Or 5 minutes. But, just to hug me, because I think the worst thing is that I was having feelings. I felt so alone.
Yeah.
So alone in the world.
Yeah.
Because my mum was also a fantastic friend to me, and I would see her at least 3 days a week when she was well, and then more when she was ill. But we would laugh together, and it's like you've lost these real pivotal, crucial relationships that are really close, the deep bonds that are very, very close.
Yeah.
And so you're sort of you're just searching for, and so I can remember I was being intimate with my husband a lot. And when I sort of Googled it.
During your grief?
During my grief.
Okay.
When I Googled it, because I thought, this is really weird, because he's not emotionally supporting me, and that, I'm behaving this way.
Yeah.
When I read up on it, it said that when people lose someone who's a key bonded person to them and a massive emotional support, the nervous system feels very alone. And what you try to do is to bond with the people, around you. And I think that so they said, actually, usually that is called widow's fire, usually when women lose their husband, or vice versa, when a husband loses his wife. Because I remember thinking, why is it that you hear so-and-so's wife passed away, and they found someone else really quickly, and you think, oh, does that mean that the wife meant nothing to them?
Which is what a lot of people think.
Which
It's a
people
misconception.
think.
Yeah,
It is a misconception.
Yeah.
I actually think it can quite often mean they absolutely adored the
Yeah.
wife and were so in love, and then they feel so
So
desperately lonely that that's when they fill
Yeah.
the void.
Yeah.
And I think that what was happening was my brother was such an emotional support to me and such a good friend that it felt like I'd lost such a key relationship.
Yes.
So I was then looking to my husband to
Yes.
try to build this bond.
Yes.
And where I'm, on the one hand, I was working, let's say, hard to build that bond. On the other hand, I was recognizing that that was the only time I felt really close to him. And I think, yes, so
you were seeking the
I was
closeness.
seeking it. I was seeking it.
Yeah.
And I knew I could get it that way.
Yes.
But the sad thing is, what I needed was the warmth and the affection.
Was the actual emotional part of it,
Yeah.
not the physical part of it.
Yeah, or just physically the warmth and affection, you know, as in a hug or things like that. So I think, and so I told my husband, you know, this is what I need.
Yeah.
And he just couldn't sort of come to the table with it. So he, you know, I said, I need some space. And so, you know, to give him his due, he did then, he did move out and said, I'll give you your space. And, you know, we'll try and talk and we'll try and, you know, go slowly through things. You've been through a lot. So he has been extremely respectful to me and very good to me. And he's given me my time and space, which is amazing.
Yeah.
But I think, I don't know if he, I just don't know if he can be that person that I now need moving forward. I think that's the thing for me is
You've recognised that he has he ever been this way, though? That's the thing. Was he ever affectionate?
I would say probably not. It's not
okay.
part of his nature. I think he had quite a tough upbringing one way or another himself. And I think, I don't know if it's within him to be able to have that open heart that I need.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
So that's been, you know, that's also been very tough.
Yeah.
It's very tough.
Very tough. There's so many emotions happening at once. And having to navigate them on a daily basis must be exhausting. As well as, you know, having to come to terms with what's happening as well at the same time. What have you been able to put in place to help you get through each day? And who would you say has been the support? Who has actually been able to show up for you in different ways?
So I think, you know, in terms of every day, I actually look up at the sky. I look up at the sky for a good period of time. And I've been going to church fairly regularly, and I definitely feel that's really helped me. So that's really, and I've listened to a lot of different kind of podcasts and things, religious ones, you know, ones on trials and tribulations, difficult times. And they, you know, they've been helpful. Definitely I've got some fantastic friends who, you know, who certainly in that first year would come round every single weekend and just sing karaoke with me or cry with me or whatever was going on at that time. And so I felt hugely supported by my friends.
Amazing.
And so that was absolutely amazing. And so, that has made a huge difference. A couple in particular really made a monumental difference to me that they probably wouldn't really understand the impact that it's had on me, actually.
Because sometimes it's the small things, isn't it, that really really impact you, and some people don't realise what they're doing. They're just doing it because that's who they are. But really and truthfully, it's just made you feel more secure, and actually brought some happiness to you. So that's amazing.
And you know, and I can see how people, you know, I've had those moments where on a Saturday night and I'm on my own and there's nobody there, and I've, you know, opened a bottle of wine and drunk it, you know, and I did that quite a few times, and I remember thinking, you know, this is a dangerous path to walk down.
Yes.
And that I can absolutely see how people then are turning to that to fill a void. Absolutely, can I see that? And, you know, I think it's initially you're sort of thinking, oh, it's fine, I'm in control. If I'll have another wine, I'm in control. But at what point does it get control over you? So, yeah, that's very, very, that's very tough.
Yeah.
Certainly as well, you know, I'm in touch with my brother's friends who are amazing. They arrange a bike ride for him every year. They cycle from his grave down to the beach, and at his birthday as well. And they've been an unbelievable they've been an unbelievable support to me. So that's been fantastic. And then I've got a friend who is basically a counsellor and has helped me a lot as well. So I can share his details, pass them on to you as well. So yes, I do consider myself blessed because I have had a lot of support. But it's, you know, certainly grief is a really hard. It's a really tough path to walk. And I remember when my dad knew he was going to pass away, and he sat me down and said to me, he said, this will be extremely hard. He said, your grief is yours. It's the cross to bear, and it's yours and yours alone. And he said to me, you have to be strong, because, you know, he said you have to be strong because there is no choice, because you have a daughter, she's watching you, you have a family, you have to get up again. And his words, although they're said to me 10 years ago,
still there.
Replay. And so who knew that he wasn't just talking about me losing him, he was talking about all grief. And so I think a lot about the things he said to me that day before he died, and the words of wisdom that he gave me. So yeah, I'm very grateful I had that time with him. You know, so I try to be strong. It's not easy. And then other days, even I have my low days, but that's okay. I understand now. I sort of say to myself, these are feelings, and that's okay. They will pass. Just sit in them. They will pass. This is not how it is going to be forever. And just, that's okay. Let the pain in. Don't shy away from it. Because it's a reflection of how much you love someone.
Yes, absolutely. And I think a lot of people run away from the feelings. They try, like you said, they try and fill that void as much as possible. And then that's when things really spiral, in anything really, when things are not how we anticipate them to be, and we're in a sad place. We very rarely sit in it and feel the feelings. A lot of the time we find a way to avoid and run away. And some people do find it in alcohol, in drugs, in promiscuity, whatever it is that can just stop them from thinking about that thing. But a lot of the time when you just sit in it and you do realise, and you say those words to yourself, I'm going through it now. Tomorrow's another day. I'm going to get up again tomorrow and see how I feel. And you kind of try your best to claw your way out of it. And then you kind of do get back up, but then again you have to realise it's going to come back, and it's like waves. It comes in waves, right? It just hits you unexpectedly. You could be so happy, and then all of a sudden, and then you have to find a way to navigate all of that. So looking back at, you know, what you've been through and the things that you've experienced with your mum, with your brother, with your husband, what would you say is the thing that you're wanting to have in the future now, in terms of have you been able to look forward? Is there anything that you truly know you deserve and that you're wanting?
Well, yes, I think so. That's the other thing I would say is one thing that's helped me is if you try to book things that are nice that you can look forward to. So I tried to book, even if it's to go to an outdoor free concert or a pub where there's a band on, like book things with people to do that are in the future, or you're going to a restaurant. Those things, meeting an old friend for a coffee, book them in is what I would say, because what it does is it gets you to forward think about nice things that are coming down the line in the future. And certainly, for me, I want love in my future, 100%. I want love, and I want a connection and a bond, a really strong connection and a really strong bond with somebody. And I think that's what I'd like. That's what I feel like. I feel I deserve it. And until it comes, I am very fortunate that I've got great, strong bonds with friends, and so that's really a big help. So, my hope is to have a lot of love in my future moving forward, similar to the love I've had in my past. That's it. That's what I would like.
So in parting, is there anything that you want to leave the audience with? Any advice or guidance that you could give them for someone who is grieving or is separated and having to navigate someone that they have been and known and loved for so many years, and now you're in a different place?
Yes, I think trying to do journaling is really good, because it enables you to process your thoughts. Naming your feelings, I think, is crucial, because the minute you name them, you can have an understanding, and just sort of saying, you can live in many ways above your feelings, as in they don't have to rule you. And so that's the other thing I'd say, is they don't have to rule you. You can say, okay, that's fine, I'm feeling really low at the moment, that's okay, it's understandable. Give yourself compassion. Try to, with some support, whatever the support looks like around your circumstances, try to set up a group of just maybe 2 other really good friends, or if it is, if your mum and dad are still around, whoever it is, set it up. Because one of our friends, my friend, she said to me, we're going to have a phrase which is, I need 8 minutes.
Okay.
And that is, as soon as we put that onto our group, it's a flag to the other people in the group that we're really struggling at that moment, and you just need an 8-minute conversation.
Right.
And so then one of us will try and call the person who said they need 8 minutes.
Right.
And it's a flag up to say that, we're really struggling, because apparently there was some research done and said, actually, if you just have a phone call from a friend for 8 minutes, it can really help your mental health and take you from a really low place to somewhere not quite so low. And what I've learned is sometimes it's the smallest things can have the biggest impact. So definitely that's helpful. I'd definitely say go to church, get out in nature, try to walk out in the trees and have that time where you let your mind wander and where you're undistracted. So, out walking, getting fresh air is helpful, and getting your body moving, because that definitely will take you out of your mind. I think a problem a lot of the time in your grief, you're all in your head. And actually, if you start moving your body, it really helps. So I've done a lot of, on YouTube, you'll find Adrienne yoga, but she does yoga for depression. She does yoga for anxiety.
Amazing.
It's all about mental health.
Yes.
And they're only, 15, 20 minutes. And it's surprising the effect that can have. And that's really helped me using those types of things. And just knowing that it is going to get better for you. It is. yeah, so I suppose that's it really, and just be really kind to yourself.
Yeah, that's another thing, because we tend to do negative talk when we're in that low place, and then you say all sorts of things to yourself, don't you, that you wouldn't even say to your worst enemy, and it seems to happen that you're saying it to yourself. So just lastly, in terms of where you're at this moment in time, where would you say you're at with your husband, and how are you guys working towards coming to an understanding? Or
I think yes. So he suggested getting some sort of marriage counsellor to sit down. So I think that's a really good suggestion. So obviously at the moment I'm very busy because it's coming up to the anniversary of my brother's passing, and so it's all. But I think, actually for us to sit down with somebody and just talk it all through, I think would be a real blessing, because apart from anything else, I think it would be good for him to understand, how it's gone wrong, to fully understand it. And to just to bring us some clarity. So I think that's our next step, is to have that conversation. And I'm not sort of going in with any expectations or anything like that. I think I'm just going in with hopefully a clear mind, and just to have the space to chat it over and really explain fully how I'm feeling. And so so we'll see, I suppose, how that goes. But I'll be grateful to have that time, and I'm grateful I've had this time as well to really process, because that's the other thing, is you forget who you are when you lose your closest bonds. A piece of you feels like you've had your identity ripped from you. And so I have started to write down things that I enjoy doing. Who am I as a person? So I think that's also very important. So it's a tough road, but we've got to just try to push on through and try to keep going our best.
Amazing. And it's great that you're going to be able to sit down and start that healing process on that side. You've got the grief side, but it's also about your marriage and just how you guys can heal, both of you. And hopefully, if nothing else, still remain amicable and friends, and because you've had this life together for so long. The fact that you're able to sit down together and talk together as adults, and just really let it all out. It's going to be so amazing for both of you to be able to do that, because I'm sure that he has his things that he needs to discuss as well, and you can hear from his side, on his perspective, and come to an understanding, which is the main thing about it. So I just wanted to say thank you so much for joining us. It's been amazing to hear your story. It's been amazing to understand your perspective on how you're dealing with your grief, and I know that so many of our listeners, our subscribers, are going to be able to resonate with your story in some way. And I want to thank you for your bravery, coming to share your story with me and sitting down with me for the Women's Hour. For those of you that have listened to this and you are experiencing any of the things that Janette has spoken about, or of somebody that is experiencing, grief, and understanding that you know that they're struggling, please do share this with them. I think they definitely need to hear this. And we thank you again for joining us this week, and we will be back again next week with another episode of the Husband and Life podcast. Thank you so much. Peace.